We are going to discuss about managing for sustainability subject. The topic for today is corporate governance. As you all can see that there are two parts in this topic. First is corporate and second one is governance. So we are going to understand these two words first before starting the whole understanding of this concept. So let's define one by one. Though what is corporate? So it can be understood by understanding this definition, which is mentioned in front of you. The term corporate refers to an association of many persons. So there are a lot of people in this association who contribute money or money's worth to a common stock and employ it in the some trade or business, and who share the profit and loss arising from therefrom. It means there are uh, more than one person, or maybe count could be anything. They come together, they invest their money or money worth anything. Finally, they are going to do trade or business with it, and after that, they are liable, they are eligible to get share from the profit or loss which is going to be arise from that particular trade. The common stock show contributed is denoted in money and is the capital of the money. So the investment which they are going to make in the money's form or money's worth form is going to be called as capital of the company. The person who contribute this or to whom it belongs are its members. So those who are going to invest money or the capital who is belonging to anyone are the members of the particular trade. So this is the discussion about corporate. The proportion of the capital to which each member is entitled is his share. Shares are always transferable, although the right to transfer them is often more or less restricted. Those who are going to invest the money, they are going to get their stake in terms of shares. Then what is governance? Governance is about a process of decision making and the process by which decisions are implemented or not implemented. When the government is going to take care of the overall happening in the business, and they are also going to look after the decisions which are implemented or not implemented. Now we are going to define corporate governance as a whole. So it is the combination of rules, processes, or laws by which businesses are operated, regulated, or controlled. So we all are witness to some of the business which is getting operated in our society, but we may not be knowing that there is a agency, there is a governance working behind them to make them follow some laws, follow some regulations, and they are there to control the overall happening of the business. The term encompasses the internal and external factors that affect the interest of a company's stakeholders, including shareholders, customers, suppliers, government, regulators, and management. So everybody who is a part of that has been taken care in the corporate governance. So whatever regulations, laws they are going to make, they are going to make sure that shareholders, customer, government, management, everyone who is concerned, who is a part of that is going to be taken care. An example of good corporate governance is well-defined and enforced structure that works for the benefit of everyone concerned by ensuring that enterprise adheres to accept ethical standards, best practices, and formal laws. So everything is going to be followed based on some guidelines, which could be on the basis of ethical standards. So follow the ethics in the business, best practices. Maybe you follow the sustainability, you follow the green sustainability or the laws like protecting the environment, taking care of the suppliers, taking care of the stakeholders. This kind of the laws they are going to follow to make a good corporate governance. So they are going to the corporate governance is going to make compulsory this all standard to the management who is going to implement that. Now there is a principle called OECD principles of corporate governance. The full form is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So looking at the interest of everyone who is a part of a business or management, this framework has been prepared and it is going to impact on overall economic performance, market integrity and the incentive in it create for market participants and promotion of the transparent and well functioning market. So this OECD is a framework which is designed based on the overall interest of all the market participants in the business for the smooth functioning. The legal and regulatory requirements that affect the corporate requirements practices should be consistent with the rule of law, transparent and enforceable. The regularity, performance, and the requirements should be based on laws and transparency. The division of responsibility among different authorities should be clearly articulated and designed to serve the public interest. So everyone who's a part of corporate governance to the overall business setup, their role must be defined in advance and they should adhere to their responsibilities. The principle provide guidelines through 6 chapters. So there are six basic principles they need to follow. First is ensuring the basis for an effective corporate governance framework. It means there should be some base on which the corporate governance framework will work. The second one, the rights and equitable treatment of the shareholders and key ownership functions. So those who are the owners and the key owners and the stakeholders, there should be some rights given to all of them. Institutional investors, stock markets, and other intermediaries. So everyone who is into this chain needs to be taken care in the framework. The role of stakeholders in corporate governance. Those who are having a stake, it could be the suppliers, it could be the employees, it could be the business, it could be the stakeholders, shareholders. So there should be some role given to them. Disclosure and transparency. So everything which is going to take place should be transparent and it should be well communicated to all of them who is a part of the overall business setup. The responsibilities of the board application of OECD in India. So the person who is running the board of the OECD India, their responsibilities should also be defined in advance. What is the basic rights of a shareholders we can understand from here. Secure methods of ownership registration. So those who are going to invest, as we have already discussed about that, and going to have some shares, there should be some registration process for them. Convey or transfer shares. So whatever shares they have, they should be conveyed or the shares should be transferred to them. Obtain relevant and material information on the corporation on a timely and regular basis. The information flow should be relevant and it should be based on a particular time. Participate and vote in general shareholders meeting. So all the shareholders, whenever the meetings are happening, they should go and participate. There should be some voting rights also to the shareholders. elect and remove members of the board. So there should be a process of electing and removing the members of the board all the time, maybe based on the guidelines which is made by the governance to be followed. Could be the timeline could be either in months on the year. Share in the profits of the corporation. So if the corporation is going to make the profit, the share should be given to all the stakeholders. So difference between governance and management. This is a very important topic. Before that, we all know the case which has happened in the company called Satya. There was a huge money fraud took place. So this kind to avoid this kind of frauds, a well governance is required to take care of the money and the shares of the all stakeholders. So let's go and understand the difference between governance and management. This is people are always confused. So we will understand with a few information related to that. The first one is in basic terms, governance is the role of leading an organization and management is its day-to-day running or operating. So governance is a authority who is going to design a day-to-day plan and management is going to run that day-to-day plan. So that is the basic difference in a governance and the management. Governance is the job of the governing body such as a committee or board to provide direction, leadership and control. The governance is basically going to give the guidelines, the roadmap of the functioning of a business, and the management is going to follow that roadmap, follow the overall standard operating procedure of the guidelines which is provided by governance, and management is going to follow that. Governance can be set to set the right policy and the procedure for ensuring that things are done in a proper way. Management is typically the job of a management or executive team led by a coordinator or chief executive, his or her staff, and volunteers. So, governance is the policy maker, and management is going to follow that policy, going to implement that policy. The governing body's role is to observe management, not to manage. It must be satisfied that the management team is doing its job in the accordance with policy and resources. So, after some interval, the governance should check whether the policy which is decided by the governing body is implemented well or not by the management. So the frauds will not take place in the organization and everybody rights will be taken care. Governance can be said to be representing the owners or the interest group of the people who represent a firm, company or any institution. The governing body, on the other hand, appoints management personnel, while governance pertains to the vision of an organization and translation of the vision into policy. Management is all about making decisions for implementing these policies. Means the governance will decide the vision where this organization is going to be after 20 years. Suppose this could be the vision, and management is going to implement the strategies given by the corporate governance to achieve that. Management comes only second to the governing body. So governing body has a higher rank than the management, and they are bound to strive as per the wishes of governing body, and they are going to management is going to function according to the governance. So this is about difference between governance and management.